Like normal, we first have to set the what if up. In the future, during the 3-year gap of peace, Goku will still die of the heart virus. But this time around, he and Chi-Chi decide to conceive another child earlier on. Goku dies before his son is born, still due to the heart virus. Chi-Chi would take the longest to recover, especially because she was carrying their child. This puts her in a depressed state for a while, but after she mourns her husband's death properly, their son would be born. Following Goku's wishes, she names the baby Goten. Now, there are a few things that will be fought over in this video. They're very debatable, but here's what I'll go with. Which Goten are we talking about? The one that never ages? The one whose power is super high? Or is he just like Trunks from the future? Well, I think we can get a little creative and mix both up. I don't think it would make sense to make Goten a short kid, even though he was in his teens. That idea was extremely hated by a lot of people, and I'm a part of those people. Plus, Trunks in the future is at the proper height. Next is the power. This I would like to discuss a bit more, because Goten would certainly be born close to his original power and potential. Considering Goku was a Super Saiyan at the time and has a lot more S cells, he would still end up creating an extremely powerful hybrid. However, he is far from great for Super Saiyan Goku at the time, because he was originally conceiving Goten while he was like a lot stronger. So around the time he died of the heart virus, he's just a Super Saiyan. Goten would still be a lot weaker, but much stronger than Trunks. He would barely be 3 months of age when the androids attack, so it doesn't change the outcome of that fight. Everyone except for Gohan is killed in the android's rampage. Then we would probably have a 5 to 6 year time skip. Goten and Trunks would still need to be an appropriate age to train. Gohan by now has had many encounters with the androids, because he tries to take them on every now and then. He still knows the Super Saiyan transformation, and from his encounters, knows that the androids can't sense ki. He would train Goten and Trunks in a wasteland, and he starts training earlier because he has more to fight for. His father's dead, but he has a little brother who was born stronger than all of them. Goten and Trunks are the last hope. He would start out with light sparring, taking it slow because they're only kids. As we know, Chi-Chi basically trained Goten, and he learned martial arts pretty well. But with Gohan training Goten, it would be a lot more heavy and mastered, because while Chi-Chi did know martial arts, it wasn't nearly as much as to the level of Gohan. He'd been doing it since he was around the age of 4. He also was able to unlock Super Saiyan just by being pushed into a corner. Speaking of Goten here, with a little more effort from Gohan pushing him in training, he would still be able to unlock the Super Saiyan transformation, which comes as a shock to Gohan. He now truly believes that Goten is the hope for the future. Trunks is there too, but he would remain the same. However, Goten training with him, and Gohan as well as Goten unlocking Super Saiyan earlier than him, will motivate Trunks to train harder. This does not push him to unlock Super Saiyan earlier though, it just makes his base stronger. Bulma would still be working on the time machine, in case all else failed. A few years later, when Goten is 13 and Trunks 14, the two are a lot more powerful. Gohan believes that between him and Goten, they can take the androids. Maybe. Goten and Trunks alone have Super Saiyan, so they might be able to take them on. Then Trunks would provide the cover fire. Goten and Trunks of the future are a lot more serious. They're nothing like their super counterparts. However, are they strong enough to take the androids? We're about to find out. It wouldn't be too hard to find the androids, considering they randomly blow up cities. After that, Goten and Gohan confront 17 and 18. Trunks is nowhere to be seen. At least it seems that way. Staring down, Gohan breaks the silence.
Let's end this!
The two hybrids power up into Super Saiyan and charge at the androids. They're amazed at the sharp increase in strength they weren't expecting. As the fists of the Saiyans collide with their faces, the two are pushed back. They fire back with everything they got. 17 and Gohan go toe-to-toe, with neither having the advantage over the other. Over time though, Gohan's mastery over Super Saiyan isn't able to outdo the stamina drain it comes with. He focuses all his energy on one beam, which he throws towards 17. As it strikes the android's chest, 17 creates a barrier, holding it in place an inch away from contact. That could have killed him. Gohan is left exhausted, with 17 hurt, but not completely drained like Gohan is. The infinite stamina would come into play here, except from the distance, Trunks is prepared, and has been charging a Gallic gun this entire time. As soon as it looks like Gohan isn't doing the best, Trunks gets in close, and fires all of his energy at 17. This was a pretty sizable blast, but not enough to kill the android. Angered, he declares that it's his turn. 17 follows by laying a beatdown on the two. Goten, on the other hand, isn't doing bad against 18. She's weaker than 17 is, and Goten is around the same strength as his older brother. The clashes between the two's fists are even, until finally, Goten's technique outmatches hers. Goten is able to knock 18 into 17, and the three hybrids group up. except Gohan realizes with he and Trunks injured, they don't stand a chance. He makes a last-ditch effort to smoke bomb the area with a ki blast to the ground. Goten and Trunks aren't caught up on what he's planning. He knocks them out and finds a safe spot. Although that won't be enough. He knows the androids will blow the area up to find them, so there's only one way this goes. Rushing back to the fight, Gohan makes a last-ditch effort to attack 18, but 17 gets in the way, and they start to tag team him. Gohan's efforts are futile, as the end result will be the same: his death. Hours pass before both teenagers awaken, but when they find Gohan's lifeless corpse, anger and sadness fills them. Trunks erupts into a blind rage and achieves Super Saiyan, much like normal. Goten, however, is just unresponsive. He falls to the ground, disappointed at himself for the mistake of letting Gohan do this, for being too weak. Gohan and Trunks make it their mission to avenge Gohan at all costs. The time machine is brought up, and the one to head back would most likely be Goten, as he appears to be the strongest. Also, I didn't mention what happened to Goten because of Gohan's death. He wouldn't unlock Super Saiyan 2 or anything. That's a whole completely different kind of level. But he is angered, and it wouldn't really do anything because it would just be a rage boost that amounts to literally nothing. That was a little off script, but let's get back to it. Heading back in time, Goten would do much of the same things Trunks did. He kills Frieza and Cold, waits for Goku, and gives little Gohan a smirk just before he heads off. The difference would be, Goku would now know that he has another son. But I don't think Goten would be born early in the present timeline. Goten wouldn't mention the exact year he was born. That's up for debate though, and I don't want to focus on that detail too much, because it doesn't change that much. Instead of being 1 year younger than Trunks, they're probably going to be the same age, and Goten would be a little stronger, but we just move on from that because it's debatable really. Then 3 years would pass, and most events go the same. When returning, both future Goten and Trunks would. This results in future Goten also being present when 17 and 18 are let out. Not even thinking, Goten powers up into Super Saiyan and charges at the two. His increase in power is noticeable, but if anything, he's barely even to present 18. Remember, the present timeline androids are stronger than the future. This would then result in a lot of things going the same, up until the time chamber. I don't think this stuff is too important, because it'll really pretty much happen the same way with Goten there. Now, coming out of the time chamber training, Trunks would still go in with Vegeta, because they figured that whole thing out pretty fast, about how Trunks is his son. Everyone discovers who Goten is too, and I feel like Goku would take both Gohan and Goten in with him. Before you go to the comments and say, no more than 2 people, blah blah blah, that is not true. There just isn't enough food and water for 3 people. However, if all 3 of them go in at the same time, the amount of time they stay would be decreased a little bit due to someone else eating with them. However, this lost time is made up by the training partner. Goten would arguably be even stronger than Goku. He's had years with the Super Saiyan transformation. This allows him to pick up on grade 4 before Goku. But Goku and Gohan would still get it, and with the extra training partner, they would be around the same strength as before, except it wouldn't just be Gohan who was pushed during training. Goten has Goku to train with, and the father he never knew is a martial arts genius. Goten might have the strength, but he doesn't have technique. To beat the threat, he needs both. They would all exit about 8 months-ish in. Goku and Gohan only stayed in 10 months before, so Goten being there would make it 8. Now outside, everything has been going the same. Piccolo fused with Kami, fought 17, who was absorbed by Cell, who was beaten by Vegeta, but then not beaten because of Vegeta, and then we get a perfect Cell, who now holds the Cell games. That's the short recap of everything. Goku has his short break attitude now because he not only has Gohan as a backup, he has Goten as the main force. However, Goten doesn't feel the same way. He urges Trunks to come into the time chamber and train with him for the remaining time they have. Trunks would do so because they know how serious this threat is. They lost Gohan, and everyone they knew to this. Now think of this, Goten, who is stronger than both Goku and Gohan in his grade 4 after 8 months of training, now goes in for another year to train. Chances are he will unlock Super Saiyan 2, but then again we couldn't know for sure. At least his Super Saiyan is amplified greatly, to the point where he's visibly above Cell in power. When the Cell games comes around, Cell would want to fight Goku, but he is not accommodated. Goten would step up, and use either his grade 4 Super Saiyan, or if you want to assume he would unlock Super Saiyan 2, to ultimately defeat Cell. Cause really, regardless he defeats Cell, this would mean Gohan doesn't unlock Super Saiyan 2, and Goku does not die. Heading back to the future now, both Goten and Trunks killed their androids, as well as Cell. The 7-year time gap of peace is only a little different. Goten and Trunks are at the same age, which would mean that Goten is going to end up being stronger than Trunks, which means that Trunks would train harder and Goten would train harder. Goku would be training all throughout the 7 years, but Chi-Chi would most likely maybe get a job for him being alive and everything, you know? This would mean that while Goku does get to train every now and then, it's not at all times. He doesn't have 1 million Zenny to convince Chi-Chi to let him train with King Kai. But Goku would still be able to squeeze in more than enough training to unlock Super Saiyan 2 and master it. Same with Vegeta. Another thing I want to discuss is with the future. I never understood why Trunks didn't ask for the location of New Namek, because Goku literally teleported there and brought a new Guardian to Earth in an instant. So I thought Goten and Trunks would leave with coordinates of New Namek, and using a ship made by Bulma, Goten travels to Namek, and after getting his mind read, he's allowed to use the Dragon Balls. I'm sure Mori wouldn't mind giving the son of their savior at least that much, especially because of all he's gone through. Piranga has 3 wishes, and he has been upgraded by this point to be able to revive multiple people. Goten wishes for everyone killed by the androids to be revived. This brings back everyone, except for Yamcha and Chaozu, because the 2 had died previously. Chaozu will remain dead regardless, and Yamcha is brought back with Earth's Dragon Balls. Overall a happy ending, but more threats are on the horizon. That, however, is for the next part / finale of this What If. So I hope you guys did enjoy this What If. I know I didn't completely fulfill my word of making this a much longer part, but I thought there would be too little to cover in the finale. Make sure to leave your thoughts and suggestions down in the comments. I'll make sure to respond. But you need to make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell to be part of the Super Saiyan 4s. It's free and you can always change your mind. The growth over the last few weeks has been immense, and I'm really thankful for it. But let's keep going with this momentum. Hopefully we can reach 5K soon. Quick shout out to Gojira and Black Saiyan for becoming Limit Breaker members of the channel. If you want to become a member, then click the join button down below to get access to a lot of perks. Shout out to Retro from my Discord server for the future Gohan voice in the video. His DeviantArt link will be in the description. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Negative. He made the awesome Super Saiyan future Goten art. His DeviantArt will also be linked in the description. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.